Hi, welcome back to MS Excel tutorial. In this video we're going to be having a look at working with page layout. As you can see, Excel has got its own page layout ribbon. I've selected it already, as you can see there, and there's this section over here, the group called page setup. Here it allows me to go in and change my margin, orientation, and we'll discuss these as we go through. So the page layout is basically your printing setups. Now, I've mentioned previously in one of the other videos about these little buttons at the bottom right hand corners over here. These are your launch buttons for your additional options. Now, if I launch this page setup option, it brings up this dialog box for me, and you will see basically everything that I can do on this ribbon can be done in this dialog box. As you can see over here, orientation, portrait and landscape, orientation over here, orientation over there. Then we can go on to the size, we can go on to margins, our scale to fit, to adjust, and so on. So what we're collectively setting up here when we set up this section is actual how this document's going to print. Right, so let's have a look what this dialog box does for us. On the first tab over here, we've got the page. That is to set up the page. First of all, you've got portrait and landscape. Portrait, as you can see, will bring your page up in portrait style as if we were looking at a photograph. Landscape turns it sideways so that it is wider, giving us a better view of the page then. Over here, under the scaling, you can adjust the scaling. You can tell it how many pages to fit to, how many pages wide, and how many pages long or tall. And we can also tell it percentage-wise what we want to have a look at. Example here, if I tell it to fit 1 by 1, that means it's going to put it 1 page long and 1 page wide. In other words, it's going to put it onto a single page. Below this over here, we've got our paper size. This is going to be dependent on the size paper that you're using. Our standard paper we use today is A4. Right, the next tab over here is the margins. As you can see, when I click on it, it brings up the margin settings. We've got our top margin, bottom margin, left and right. We've got our headers, our width of our headers. And to adjust these margins, we can use the buttons over here. So as you can see, as I'm adjusting them, now changing my margins to whatever size I want. Now note also at the moment in time the document is centered horizontally and vertically across the page. I can change that by removing these check marks over here, and as you can see, it moves my preview. It's changing the width as well. The headers and footers are customizable. In other words, I can go in and actually put my own information into this header. To do this, I click on custom header. Notice it now it's brought up this dialog box, and it has split my header into 3 sections: left section, center, and right. And just above that there you've got these radio buttons, and these are the radio buttons allow me to go in and format how the text is going to look, what it's going to do, and so on inside the actual header itself. Example, let's just go over these over here. Here it is for formatting the text. That will allow me to go in and change the look of the text that I've got selected with the header or footer. Insert page number. So that's what we're going to do now. I'm going to put in a page number. Then I can go and tell it number of pages of. In the center section over here, I'm inserting today's date and time. And on the right hand section over here, I'm going to tell it where this file is going to be saved to. Putting that in is actually setting up the code for Excel to be able to work with. Once I click OK, now it's gone and added the information for me. As you can see at the top over there, I click OK. Go to my View tab now, or my Print Preview. And as you can see now that I brought up the Print Preview, it's got the information that I put in. There's my page numbers, my date and time, and there is the file where this Excel spreadsheet is located. If you have a look here, I can actually go in and add logos as well, pictures. And I could add my company logo in there if I wanted to. Just going to go and add a picture for now. Okay, at the moment I'm working offline, so it's taking a bit long to do that. And okay. Notice it's showing the picture there, and okay. Go back over here. Go to our print preview. And there the logo is. But if you have a look here now, you can see there's a custom footer. If I click on that, I can go and do exactly the same thing that I did in the headers in the footers. Then have a look at the bottom of our dialog box over here. You can see there's some different options here as well. Different odd and even pages can be selected. Different first page, if I want to put a different looking first page in there. Scale with document, in other words, it must be reduced to size according to the document. And then align with the paper margins. And then you've got your print button, which will allow you to go in and print. Then I want to talk about the last tab over here, the sheet tab. As you can see, the sheet tab over here allows me to go in, first of all, and select my print area. How do I do that? By clicking on the collapse button. As you can see, it collapses down my dialog box. I can select the area that I want to print. Expand my dialog box again. And you can see the cells have been selected over there. Rows to repeat at top. If I wanted to go in and have my headers repeated on each page as I print, what I do now is select over here. Rows on top. Select the row. Notice as it's put it into there. Now what will happen is every time I print the spreadsheet, these headers at the top here will be added to each page. I can go in, I can print my grid lines, or I can remove my grid lines, print in black and white to see what it's going to look like before I print my colors, so that I don't waste color. I can put it into draft quality, which will save ink as well, so I can check it before we print. If there's any comments within the Excel spreadsheet, I can print those comments or can hide them by selecting on this drop down list over here and selecting what I want to do. And then bottom over here, the page order, I can tell it whether I wanted to print page 1, 2, 3 or 4, starting with the top left hand corner, going over to the right.